The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms. James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
A judge now, we've just learned, a judge has temporarily blocked the creation of that nearly $1.8 billion fund, as President Trump has called it, the anti-weaponization fund. Let's get over to CNN's Paula Reed for much more on this. Paula, what's going on?
All right, so this is breaking news. We're learning that a federal judge in Virginia has temporarily blocked the administration from moving ahead with this controversial $1.8 billion fund that could give apologies and or money to people who believe they were wrongly investigated. Now, in a brief order from this federal judge, she says that pursuant to the creation or operation of the anti-weaponization fund, which includes the transferring of money to the fund, the consideration of any claims submitted to the fund, and the disbursing of any funds from the fund, all of that is temporarily blocked. She has set a hearing for June 12th to hear arguments on whether this should be a longer pause. Now,
yes, my friends, we have more federal judge news. A federal judge. This one is a Clinton appointee. The judge's name, Leona, what's her name? Leonie Brinkema. Leonie Brinkema, U.S. District Court, Federal District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia, is the one that decided she wants to step in, make executive level policy, hold a hearing on it. We had some other things planned with that compensation form. Democrats are still raging about that. Welcome to the I Can't Believe It's Already Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour Fastest Hour in American Media. Also today, in the last hour, a federal judge, this one out of Washington, D.C., has ruled that the Kennedy Center's board's March 16th vote to close the facility was ill-informed and seemingly preordained with no regard for its legal obligations. And so he said the board has overstepped its statutory bounds by unilaterally adding Donald Trump's name to the center. Congress gave the Kennedy Center its name. Only Congress can change it. I kind of expected that was going to happen. And let's see. So I guess the judge is saying it's got to be opened again, which is odd because if it's open while renovations. Anyway, a federal judge. On the compensation matter, as I said, liberals are still fighting mad over the idea that Americans would be compensated. They all keep saying it's J6, but this thing was never just set up for J6 people, some of whom perhaps should be compensated, the innocent ones that were weaponized by the Biden administration and Democrats and thrown in jail. But it was never just about J6 people. But Democrats are still mad about it. I have two. One, Cut 12, Carlos. New York's Mayor Mangami was on PMS Now with Jen Psaki. And this is what he and Jen Psaki had to say about the Trump compensation fund.
$1.8 billion could make every bus free twice. That's the kind of money that we're talking about when it comes to New York City. And yet, that's the money that they're willing to spend on what are clearly just partisan political priorities.
Well, Mayor Mondami, let's talk about partisan political priorities. If all you need is $1.8 billion to make every bus free in New York twice, then why don't you take the money from your spending on illegal immigrants? Illegal aliens, people that don't even belong in the country. Why don't you just say, we're not going to spend money from taxpayers on illegal aliens? Surely you could grab at least close to $1 billion when you add up everything from that. Why don't you spend less money by keeping your criminals in jail instead of them wandering the streets, committing more crimes, chewing up more law enforcement resources? If it's only $1.8 billion, why don't you actually keep your criminals in jail instead of letting them roam the streets? Why don't you look at your fraud that's going on, the massive fraud from your multi-billion-dollar budgets already, and see where you can squeeze out a few dollars from that? Talking about political priorities. You guys spend plenty of money in New York, and you're begging for more. In fact, and in terms of illegal immigrants, I'm going to come back to the compensation fund because we got another one of these Democrats on it. But let's just stick with Mamdani for a minute. You know, the other day, DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullin said, look, these sanctuary cities, they're not following the law. They're not allowing us to conduct law. So we're making a plan maybe to stop doing customs operations in New York. Now, Jen Psaki asked New York's Mamdani about that. That's cut 12. Well, no, that's cut 11. And this is what Mr. Mamdani said with Jen Psaki.
What is your response to that threat from Secretary Mullin?
You know, our laws and our values are not bargaining chips. We will not be threatened to leave so many of the New Yorkers who call this city home prey to these kinds of cruel policies. We are proud of the fact that we are a sanctuary city. We're proud of that for a number of reasons. One, it is a policy designed to keep New Yorkers safe. Two, we know that here in our city, we are proud of the more than 3 million New Yorkers who are immigrants. I'm one of them. And we know that in a city like this, it is incumbent upon us to live up to the ideals of the Statue of Liberty, not just tell people to come and look at it when they visit from across the world.
Statue of Liberty never said a thing about people entering by the millions illegally into the country and forcing American taxpayers to take care of them. So you can keep talking about your values. We know what your values are. They're straight out of Marx values. They're straight out of let's tear down capitalism. Let's tear down the government the way that it was and rebuild New York in this Marxist image. So now, let's go back to the compensation form. Let's go out to Illinois. The lieutenant governor there, Juliana Stratton, is running for a Senate seat. And she's out every day making some obnoxious statement or another. She's weighed in on the Trump compensation form plan, too. That would be cut 13. Here's Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
So let me get this straight. Donald Trump wants to spend $1.8 billion taxpayer dollars to reward his insurrectionist buddies simply for being loyal to him. And yet every single day we are seeing people all across this country struggling to pay for groceries, to fill up their gas tanks and pay for housing. It's not only wrong, it's not only immoral, it's disgusting.
All right, Juliana Stratton says we're not spending money on health care. We're not spending money on child care. She says every single day people are struggling to make ends meet. What she doesn't say is why so many American people are struggling. Because her party, the Democrats, have ruined the economy in almost every big city that there is. It is the Democrats and their ass-backwards policies that have placed real estate out of the hands of most people, that continue to squash landlords into oblivion, and which, by the way, results in more and more dilapidated properties with these restrictions that are put on landlords. It is liberals that run businesses out of town. It is liberals that create the crime or allow the crime to flourish in their cities that drive businesses out, even in Chicago, in her state. You had a bunch of black people sitting out whining and moaning and groaning because of Walgreens was closing up. And they're blaming Walgreens instead of blaming the little criminal miscreants that they raise in their neighborhood that are responsible for Walgreens, saying it's not safe to stay here. And they won't keep the little criminal miscreants in jail. They won't punish them. They won't take a tough tack with their parents and say, please raise your children with some discipline. No, they find it easier to blame businesses. Women like this, Juliana Stratton, talks nothing about the culture that Democrats have caused in every single city that they're in. That has destroyed hope, growth, opportunity, prosperity, that has the people of these cities living in fear, abject fear for their lives. But no, she complains. We're not spending money on health care and child care. We spend billions on health care. A health care system that you Democrats ruined with your Obamacare nonsense. And it's still being ruined. I got Chris Murphy running his mouth off about that today. We spend billions of dollars on child care. You ingrates like this woman act as if the taxpayers have never paid anything. American taxpayers are the most generous people in the world. They pay billions and billions of dollars. And all you greedy Democrats want to do is suck out every single last dime that people have. So you can waste it on your fraud like you're doing in Minnesota, so that you can rip the system off or let your constituents rip the system off. And life never gets better. All the money spent, nothing ever gets better. You're still out whining about you need more money. One day, and I don't know when, and I don't know if it will be in my lifetime, one day people will wake up to what these Democrats have truly done to every single place that they have inhabited with their wretched policies, while they stand on their soapboxes and point their fingers at everybody else for not spending enough of their hard-earned money, as they continue to want to take every dime from people and waste a lot of it. These people are sickening.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. James Golden Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on Capitol Hill today, Pam Bondi recovering from throat cancer. And of course, the liberals are some of them making horrible statements on social media about that. But the liberals were having a cow because Pam Bondi testified again behind closed doors on the Epstein thing. First, let's listen to Representative Robert Garcia. I think he's California, doesn't matter. Cut 4, this is Garcia afterwards. Here you go.
We continue to say that this should be recorded by video and released to the American public. And we're also asking that Chairman Comer immediately release the transcripts that right now are being done throughout today. I want to also say just a few other things. It is clear in just this part of the interview that she continues to push all of the investigation and the blame.
That's not my phone.
On acting AG Todd Blanche.
That's somebody else's phone.
She said, and I quote, "Acting AG Blanche was managing the entire investigation," end quote.
Yeah.
And what you're going to hear in that interview, and what she's saying here in her words and remarks, is that it was Todd Blanche, the current acting AG, that was leading the Epstein investigation. And quite frankly,
how much more time
all of the
on
mistakes
this?
that we saw, the redactions, not protecting survivors, she continues to push that back onto the acting AG, Todd Blanche, who, by the way, was Donald Trump's former personal lawyer.
Okay, thank you. That's over. Next one. The CIA plant in Congress, the seditionist Stansberry, had also remarks about this thing. Here she is. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. It's 2 minutes, and I can't take her voice for 2 minutes.
Was complying with the congressional deposition to testify under oath, Department of Justice attorneys would not be intervening and essentially trying to stop her from answering basic questions about her conversations with Donald Trump, with the administration.
Stop right there. Miss, I don't know whether you are truly that naive or uninformed or uneducated. The president and the people that work in his executive administration have executive privilege. They don't have to tell you private conversations that they have had with the President of the United States. Maybe instead of spending so much time trying to cook up CIA operations, maybe you should actually study the Constitution and our way of government. Continue with this nonsense.
And trying to claim that she does not have to answer questions.
She doesn't.
In fact, as the ranking member said, she has been asked multiple times about the Trump administration, about her conversations with the president, about her
separation of powers
with
none
other
of your business.
Administration officials.
None of your business.
When asked specifically about a conversation with Donald Trump, one of
none
the
of your
Department
business.
of Justice attorneys intervened and said that she did not have to answer the question because it was a voluntary interview, and said, in fact, quote, "We don't even have to assert privilege because of that," and said,
and there
quote,
is exactly. Just shut this woman up. I tell you what, both for Garcia and this woman, I'd love it if you both do two things. Go to your respective cities. Find one of those big fire hydrants. You know the ones, the big yellow fire hydrants? They have that little thing sticking out at the top where they open the water. The fire hydrants. Both you, Miss Stansbury, and Garcia, find one of those fire hydrants. Sit on it and do the twist. That's what you need to do. And stop bothering us. Let me say for the record one more time, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You can talk Epstein. I'm Epsteined out. I don't want to hear Jeffrey Epstein's name anymore. I don't care. Whatever you people want to do about Jeffrey Epstein, I don't care. Don't even want to hear Epstein's name anymore. We're going to move on to other things when we get back. I don't care about Jeffrey Epstein.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Chris Murphy. Let's just play him. Senator Chris Murphy.
Over the last year and a half, congressional Republicans, along with Donald Trump, have been engaged in a campaign to destroy your healthcare and destroy the entire nation's healthcare system. Now we have proof of that. Leaked data just emerged from the ACA healthcare exchanges across the country that show this year there is a 21% decline in the number of people who are signing up for healthcare on the ACA in about 30 states. It's even worse than that because of the people who do sign up, about 1 in 5 aren't able to pay their premiums in the first few months and are dropped from their plans. This is exactly what Trump is intending to do, right? This is success for Donald Trump and Republicans. They are trying to destroy the Affordable Care Act. They are trying to throw you off your health care. And now we know that they are succeeding at a just cataclysmic rate. 21% fewer people on the exchange this year. Across the country, that probably means that there are millions of people who had insurance last year who don't have it this year. And it's not just because the premiums are higher, and they are, because the Trump administration decided to end the tax credit program that helps you build insurance. They also have done nothing to try to keep insurers offering plans. So 2 of the biggest health insurers in the country, Cigna and Aetna, have dropped out of exchanges. And when big insurers drop out of exchanges, that means less competition. That means the rates go up. That means it's even harder for people to pay their premiums. This is by design. A lot less people have health care insurance in America today than did 2 years ago. Health insurance rates are much higher today than they were 2 years ago. And people are celebrating that in the White House because all they care about are the profits that are being made by the insurance companies. All they care about is their billionaire friends. They don't care about you. And we are now seeing the results of everything Trump and Republicans have done over the last year and a half to try to destroy our healthcare system generally and the Affordable Care Act specifically.
Almost every single word that he said is a lie. Almost every single conclusion that he draws is a lie. Period. Not that the numbers aren't what they are. They are. But let's go back my friends, first of all, if there was a picture of a certain part of your anatomy and someone could figure out how to put the picture in the dictionary without offending, it would be a certain part of your anatomy where waste finds its way out into the world. It would be this guy. I believe. I withdraw that statement. It's not a friendly statement. I'm sorry. I apologize deeply. He keeps saying your health care. Most Americans are not on Obamacare. That's what ACA is. Secondly, Donald Trump and they try to destroy it? No, they're not. It was destroyed the moment Democrats passed it. With only Democrat votes. Every Republican stood up when they were trying to pass this thing and said, this is not going to work. It's going to be catastrophic. It's not going to do what you say it's going to do. It's going to raise costs. People are not going to be able to afford it. It's going to ruin the healthcare system. Y'all didn't listen. Democrats didn't listen. They passed it. And the subsidies he talked about were subsidies for COVID era subsidies that Democrats put a sunset on, along with Republicans, and they expired. Democrats did that, not just Republicans, on the subsidies. Now, the Republicans have no interest in making these some of them do, making the insurance companies rich. The Democrats did. That's the way Obamacare was set up. It doesn't give you money, which is what Donald Trump wants to do, give you money. Or no, I shouldn't even say give you money. Provide the funding so that you can choose your own health care out of what people pay in taxes, instead of it going to insurance company profits. He's already lowered prescription drug costs, but remarkably, so much so that even Mark Cuban has signed on board. But you never hear these Democrats talk about it. They come with the same line of BS garbage. Obamacare was designed to fail. And they admitted it. It was designed to fail so that when it failed, they could finally get universal health care through the government. This was part of a long-term effort. And Democrats brought it to you. Its failures belong to Democrats. Not one Republican voted for this POS that is Obamacare. Not one. And he knows it. Not one Republican is responsible for Obamacare failing. It was designed to fail. Everything that he says about competition, Democrats rejected that. During the debates about Obamacare, they didn't want competition. You remember this if you search your memory. They didn't want insurance companies to be able to cross state lines. They didn't want actually even limits on lawsuits and other things that drive up health care costs. The whole thing was designed to fail by Democrats, and it is doing what Democrats intended it to do, fail only. Their dream of socialist health care is not on the horizon, and so now they are in quicksand of their own making. They are in political quicksand that they stirred the ingredients for. And they can KMA all of them. Because nobody wants to hear this crap anymore. Okay, moving on. Let's get this out of the way real quick, because it's more stupidity from Democrats, and this just seems to be the day. Cut 18. This guy, and I'm not calling him a name. I'm saying it is what he is saying to me is stupidity. Now I'm not calling him a name. His name is Jumaine Williams. He's some New York City public advocate, whatever the hell that is. I wonder if he's on the city payroll. One of the reasons that people can't have free buses because they're paying for crap like this. Mondami, listen to this.
Literally telling black people you cannot afford to live in New York City, so move down south where you can't vote and you won't have representatives. Right. This is actually happening in this America. But I am proud to be a part of the better America around me that always fights back. And the purpose of this press conference is to make sure our brothers and sisters in the South know we stand with them, because we know that where you go, we will be coming shortly.
What the hell is he talking about? The purpose of this press conference is to tell our brothers and sisters in the South that where you go, we will be coming shortly. What the hell does that even mean? What the hell is he even talking about? Where you go, we will be coming shortly. What the... And then let's go back to the first part. Play the beginning of that. Play the beginning of this nonsense.
Black people, you cannot afford to live in New York City, so move down south where you can't vote and you won't have representatives.
Stop right there. They're literally telling black people, hey, you can't afford New York City, so move down south where you can't vote and where you don't have... I didn't know that black people in the South can't vote. It is a blatant lie. They can vote. What is happening is that some of the segregated districts that Democrats have embraced, you know, segregation now, segregation forever when it comes to black districts, some of that is going away, and so they're unhappy. They're literally telling black people, you can't afford New York. So move down south where you can't vote and where you can't have representative. Kind of stupid. By the way, why can't you afford to stay in New York? Because your damn Democrats have been running the town into the dirt. There are no Republican fingerprints on the failure of New York. The last time a Republican mayor was in New York, it was prosperous and it was safe. And you people hated his guts and you tried to rip him a new one every time. You know what I'm talking about. They tried to rip him a new one every single turn. And he made the city safe and made it prosperous, and they hated his guts. Democrats have driven New York into the dung heap, because that's what they do with every single city that they run, Mr. Juami. So blame your own damn party and stop bitching and moaning to the rest of the country about what blacks can and cannot do. If anybody's oppressing black people, it's you. I'm in a mood today. Guess I'm just sick of these people. All right, California, and then we got to stop because then we got to do the clip of the day. So let's head out west to those liberals in the cut 6. This explains it all. I have the news story here, too, but she
Stop Nick
it.
Shirley Act was voted upon yesterday in the state of California, and of course it passed. 57 legislators voted for it, while 19 legislators voted against it. In the state of California, the politicians are more afraid of the people exposing the fraud than the fraud taking place in their state. This bill says that if anyone investigates fraud taking place in immigrant communities and state-funded NGOs, they actually can go to jail, be fined up to $10,000, spend a lot of money defending themselves, and if they post a video about it, well, the video will have to come down. If you remember Nick Shirley's viral video, he visited a few daycares in San Diego. One of the daycares that he went to actually had children there, but there were no adults there. This was a state-funded daycare in an apartment complex. He found a few little kids there. The little kids said, "No, we just watch ourselves. There's no adults here." This is the type of activity that politicians in the state of California do not want you looking into. They also don't want you looking into NGOs and just where all that taxpayer money is going, because many politicians have their own NGOs. Remember,
okay, stop. We got enough. Folks, they don't care about the fraud. They want to throw the guy that is exposing the fraud and others like him in jail. Protect the fraud. Protect Democrat fraud. And the Democrats in California are voting for it, along with voting to give illegal immigrants less harsh sentences because it could affect their immigration status. Do you understand what these people are doing to your country? Every single turn. Help me, Rhonda. Please. Help me. Somebody save me from these Democrats.
The James Golden Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The James Golden Show.
Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And, ladies and gentlemen, here from the Los Angeles, California area, our clip of the day.
Fake homeless encampments set up outside L.A. City Councilwoman and mayoral candidate Nithya Raman's home.
This is happening all over the city, and we brought it to her doorstep so she can see what other people are going through.
A man who claims he helped organize the stunt spoke exclusively with Fox 11 with his face covered.
All the political violence that's been going on is really important that people protect their identity.
Tents, trash, old tires, and a barbecue Monday morning, all outside Raman's home.
Basically doing a parody ad for her. Like, if we were in charge of her campaign, this was the ad that we would make.
They feel like this draws the line.
Yeah, I think that, it's a public street, and I can see where she's upset, but to think about everybody else that's going through the same thing constantly, that they're being ignored.
Now, there's a longer version of that has her upset that they dared put a homeless encampment in front of her house. This is a woman who, part of the radical city council in Los Angeles, refuses to allow store owners to clear the homeless from in front of it, refuses to allow private citizens to get homeless people away, these camps that are all over. She lives in a beautiful $2 million property up far away. You don't see any signs of it. So these people brought a homeless encampment in front of her house, set it up, and she itched and moaned and said, oh, thank goodness my children didn't see it. They were in the house. She wanted to protect her children from seeing a homeless encampment while she and the rest of the Democrats that run L.A. have turned that city into a third world dump. I am so sick of these people. I am telling you. Now, governor's race out there. I hope Princess Di wants to talk about this tomorrow with us. The governor's race, all of a sudden, Javier Becerra is up in front, Steve Hilton behind him. This guy, Tom Steyer's in third, the latest polling. But the primary there is Tuesday. And, man, it's coming up this Tuesday. I hope Princess is with us Wednesday, too. We'll see what happens in L.A., in the mayor's race and the governor's race. But man, oh man, oh man, I'm telling you, everywhere these Democrats touch, they turn it into excrement. Let's leave on a nice note.
Thanks for listening to The James Golden Show. You can hear The James Golden Show Saturday mornings at 7. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?